Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast. Today, we are going to have TC, the CEO of OnFire Ignites on. She gets one question and it has 8 minutes and 8 seconds to answer it. It's 8 minutes and 8 seconds because 808 looks like Bob. And here we go. TC, question number one. How do you give good advice on podcasts? Go.
Okay, so here's the challenge. Everybody that gets on a podcast wants to sell their product. And that's the thing that you do not want to do. Now, you can have a call to action at the end. We always do. We have a call to action. But during the podcast, during the information part of the podcast, you should not be selling. All right. Now, you can talk about the problems that you solve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so one of the things that you can do with that, it's a little thing, is you can say, my clients say.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about the problem and then you say, my clients say, this is how we fix it. There's the problem. My client says, here's how we fix it. But one of the things that you talk about, Bob, is don't focus on the why, focus on the how. Talk about that.
Well, the thing is, there's so many people in the online space who will focus on the why. Why it's a problem, with the implied how is hire me. Idea being is, and I tell people this, if you're an online coach, I'm going to break it to you. You're not special. There's 1,000 other people just like you. So by being able to show the how, telling people, well, here's some of the steps you can do to fix the problem. What that tells me is you actually know what you're talking about. Because right now, anyone can become a coach. They say, hey, I'm a coach and I've never done anything in my life, but anything productive. And here I am. Being able to show the how is very important. It shows me your expertise level.
Shows your credibility.
Yes,
and also too, it talks about, so here's how I do it if I'm going to be on somebody else's podcast. Okay. The first thing I will do is say, here's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then I'll say, here's a tip of how to fix the problem. And then here's what my clients have to say about the problem.
Exactly. That's the easiest way to do it. Another thing is, I recently had a lady on my podcast who didn't get published. Reason is, throughout the entire time, she gave like 20 different tips in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. And they were all over the place here. My suggestion is, for every 5 to 10 minutes that you're on the podcast, have one tip. So the idea is, if you're on a 30-minute podcast, you should have in the back of your head 3 to 6 tips that you can go over. Hour long. Well, it should be 6 to 12. All depends on what you're going with on that part there, because that's going to show your credibility there.
And make it flow.
Right.
Say, for example, when I'm on a lot of these podcasts, I'll say, here are 5 ways to use testimonials that you haven't thought about.
Right.
Now, I might talk about other things, but I make sure that you get those 5 ways of, how to use testimonials that you haven't thought of. So one of the things, Bob, you had told me is I just recently saw a book that was on the internet. And I was trying to decide whether or not to buy it. And it's one of those books, about $40. Okay. And he had a video and he says, listen to this video. And at the end, I'm going to give you this specific tip. Okay. Now I listened to the whole video only for one reason. Was he going to give the tip?
Right.
Had he given me the tip, I would have bought the book. He didn't give the tip.
Right. Lost $40.
I didn't buy the book because his credibility was 0. Okay. So when you get on, also too, here's the thing. You're a person that you get on the podcast with as a guest. If you're a guest, they're going to want to share that more if you have real, true content.
Right.
If you have what we call actionable content. We're being very picky about getting actionable content. Here are 3 tips. Here is 5 tips. Okay. So when you get on, the second thing I would tell everybody is when you get on, when they say, tell us who you are, I tell people, when you're going to send a bio, nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares. They really don't care. What they care about is, do you have problems that they have? Can you solve them? So here's the problem. Here's a tip how to solve them. Here's how my client shared. Because a lot of people think to themselves, well, if I give all my secret sauce away, they're not going to hire me. Okay. We're not telling you to give all the secret sauce. We're telling you to give the high level tips.
Right.
So when I'm telling you
a little thing about that there is, here's the deal is if you gave all of your secret sauce during a podcast, Very few people are going to write down all the notes and go do the work. The reason they hire you is because you organize it all.
Yes. Yeah, that's a major reason. You concised it. You made it simple.
Right.
You made it easy. So when you're doing your bio, you're saying who you are, keep that part short. Give me value. Give me value. And then have a tight call to action at the end.
Yes, 100% agree. So TC, we got 2 minutes and 53 seconds left. Anything else you want to add, or can we go straight to the call to action?
Well, the only other thing I really want to talk about is that when you start focusing on giving really tight and concise content, you're going to be invited to be on more podcasts.
100% agree on that part there. Sweet. TC, let's do call to action. Go.
All right. So if you want to know how to get a podcast, create one very quickly that you can use for networking and for content creation. And by the way, we're talking quickly. We're saying from the time that you interview the person to the time to actually posting it is 35 minutes. Check the link below, because here's what our clients say. One client told me is before, when I was trying to use podcasts, I could get guests. Now, because you showed me how to make it quick and easy for the guests, I'm getting guests super easy now.
Perfect. You pulled it off. TC, 1 question in 8 minutes and 8 seconds, because 808 looks like Bob. And everyone, my name is Bob Clark. I am legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the social media network tells you to do. You all have a wonderful day now. Talk to you later. Bye.